So the Good Governance Bill, as we call it, the GBA has come into existence because it was passed and we notified the GBA area on 15th of May. It was passed by both houses of legislature and Honorable Governor gave the assent. That is how it has become the law. It allows the city to be the BBMP or area and the other adjoining areas to be merged with the GBA, but from time to time we can increase the area. Today, as on today, the government has taken the decision to keep it only confined to the BBMP area, but that doesn't mean that the other areas which are adjoining to the present BBMP boundaries will not be included. Over a period of time, it would be included, but to get going fast and not to know which area to be taken, which areas to be broken, and their elections are also due, Panchayati. So right now, the government has issued a notification saying that the GBA area will be presently what the BBMP area is. Once we declare that, the next step is to take a call on dividing the area into the city corporations. We call city corporations under the Act to make a different differentiation between the municipal corporations. So city corporations will be governed by this Act. The municipal corporations, other than these city corporations, are governed by the Karnataka Municipal Corporation Act. That is why this distinction. When we make this, the first thing is to how many parts of the city can be made. So we had a committee, Brand Bengaluru Expert Committee, which was also actively involved in drafting the GB Good Governance Bill, Greater Bengaluru Good Governance Bill. So we asked them only to give their recommendations, and they gave their recommendations. Accordingly, we have put the draft in the public domain. Till 18th August, the objections are called. Based on their objections, again the government will take a call as to whether the boundaries will be as put in the draft or not, and we will be finally notifying it with the assent of the governor again, because these have to be done by the governor's approval. Once that is done, the 5 cities come into existence. We are targeting 2nd September. Honorable Supreme Court is now, again they had been monitoring the process, so we have filed our affidavit. The government has given the deadlines, that these are the deadlines by which we will complete the various processes. So on the 2nd September, we are quite hopeful that the final notification would be published, because that will be 18th August plus 15 days. Within 1 week, we will finalize and then submit to the government and to the governor, and after Honorable Governor's assent and approval, it will be published. So once we publish, the city corporations comes into existence immediately. There would be no more BBMP chief commissioner, there will be city corporation commissioners. And since the elections are due of those city corporations, there will be administrators appointed, and the chief commissioner of BBMP post would become chief commissioner of the Greater Bengaluru Authority. Greater Bengaluru Authority has to be constituted by 15th of September. Anytime from 15th of May, when we issued the notification of the BBMP area as the GBA, the notification for the authority, Greater Bengaluru area is GBA, but Greater Bengaluru Authority also sounds same. So this Greater Bengaluru Authority has to be formed within 120 days of the Greater Bengaluru area notification. So that has to be completed by 15, but we will complete on 2nd September, because there is no way we can continue without that. And we could have done it earlier also as per law, but it won't mean anything, because the city corporation mayors and the commissioners were supposed to be the part of it. So once they become the administrators, etc., can be represented there. So GBA is a very important authority. When the city is being governed by 5 different entities, we will have 5 different entities. So the GBA has been envisaged, Greater Bengaluru Authority, for better coordination among the city corporation and also with various parastatals, because we are not breaking the parastatals. We have BESCOM, we have BWSSB, we have BMRCL. In any way was not such an organization, it is a linear organization. and like various BMTC, etc. So all are parastatals, they will remain with their jurisdiction. BWSSB is most important of them. So we will have to coordinate between the parastatals and the city corporations, also among the parastatals and the city corporations. If we do not have this body, and which is chaired by the Honorable CM, we will fall into the various failed experiments. We have learnt a lot from how the Delhi was broken and again combined. So we will be getting into that problem if we do not start having some sort of authority to do this great coordination, because the parastatals will be bigger than the city corporations now. So we have to see that they respond properly to the organization, and each organization, including the Bangalore Traffic Police, etc., will also see some internal changes to respond to the city corporations. So BTP, BWSSB, etc., they are all under the various departments. Those honorable ministers are also on the GBA to bring in this coordination. So we will be in a better position to have similar type of jurisdiction of each parastatal and the city corporation. So there are 5 city corporations, so there will be 5 major sub-organizations within these organizations, so that they can respond properly. We will also be in the part of under the government at the highest level will be the part of the GBA, and the MLAs, honorable MLAs and the MLCs of the area, MP, who are all elected and residing and their constituencies fall, they will also be the member. So it is around 70-75% strong body, and the action plans of various parastatals, etc., along with the city corporations have to be put there, so that each one knows what needs to be done by other. Otherwise, suppose they are taking some program and we are taking our program of roads and they are cutting each other, so it is very wasteful type of expenditure. That is why these are the authority, but authority will not be transgressing any power of the city corporation, because city corporations derive their powers from the constitutional amendment of 74th Amendment, and their whatsoever functions have been assigned to the city corporations cannot be done by anybody else. So those city corporations have been given the same powers and functions which BBMP is exercising in the whole jurisdiction. There is no what you call dilution of that autonomy. Once that is done, the coordination is required, because and some sort of there are only 2 problems in this model. One is the coordination, which we will take care of. If you make one city, till the time it is one city, you can transfer the resources of richer area to the weaker areas, which now will be within the, if you make certain city corporations and they are weak in resource mobilization, then there will be a problem. So there was an attempt in our earlier thinking that we will be able to pool the money and do something, but it was found counter to the 74th Amendment, because all resources as it is, unless the government starts taking all the taxes on their own, that is going to the consolidated fund of the state, and from there they allow you to draw. So that also is a very centralized system. So we came back to the system that each city corporation will have full control on its resources. Once that is done, if the weaker area is there, it will have a bit of a problem in its revenue mobilization and revenue expenditure. The normal maintenance aspect is falling under the revenue expenditure. So road maintenance, then the the waste disposal, all aspects which are, and even the staff salaries, administration, all that are revenue expenditure. So in order to overcome this, which was the failure in the Delhi model, the state government has taken upon itself to meet the resource gap of those city corporations where there is a deficit between the revenue and the revenue expenditure. revenue and the maintenance and administrative expenditure. For that purpose, we have envisaged in the bill envisages State Finance Commission, which is again taken directly from the 74th amendment, that the State Finance Commission should be there to look into the functioning of each of the local bodies, including the city corporation. So the State Finance Commission will be deciding which are the city corporations which are really having the deficit and how much is the deficit. To that extent, the government should compensate. It has been put to the State Finance Commission because it is a statutory body, and it should not be left to the state government to decide amount and then dispersal, what amount they may not give to the, sometimes the state government may have that type of feeling that no, they are not doing proper work, why we should give, etc. So for that purpose, whether the city corporations are overspending and they are not frugal, which is leading to the revenue deficit, or there is a real revenue deficit, will be decided by the State Finance Commission. It will be binding on the government to provide that much of resource allocation. So it is being isolated from the politics in the administration, if at all. That is the thinking. So we say we have not written that till the time there is a deficit, and the State Finance Commission will keep on reviewing. It comes once in 5 years. So the State Finance Commission, once they decide this, if the review says after 5 years that they are now good enough to, then the state government has to come this thing. Right now, we go ahead with this formulation because that is what Constitution says. We can't do on the revenue mobilization and saying that one part is going to the other. So certain areas are richer in BBMP and certain areas will not be so rich, but because of contiguity you have to make city corporation. You can't break from the, if they were very adjacent, then yes, you could have put one part of this that we tried to do. In south and east, if you see, some portion has been done for the revenue mobilization and the clear demarcation of the area. So that is a bit of a freedom is there only to break a particular area and make it a part of city corporation to see revenue mobilization. Otherwise, if east and west are there, you can't put the east money in west. So that's how you cannot have enclaves. So it has become inevitable to that there will be certain city corporation which will be rich, and there will be certain city corporation will be moderate. Let us not call weak. So that is how the city corporations are envisaged. Now, once on 2nd of September, we complete the final this thing and issue the publication, then city corporations, commissioners would be appointed, and there would be one administrator till the time the elections happen. Now, second question is how fast the elections can be done. As per the affidavit of the government submitted to the Honorable Supreme Court, we have said that from 2nd of September, we will take up to 2nd November or 1st November, around that time, to do the delimitation. Delimitation means how many wards will be there in each of the city corporations and how the boundaries will be ascertained. Within the city corporations, there should be almost equal representation. Across the city corporation, that condition is not there, but generally we will see that it is not totally imbalanced. So that will be the work of Delimitation Commission, which will be coming in existence on 2nd of September after the government decides who should be the members of that. They will sit to some guidelines will be issued by the government, and the delimitation process they will complete. First they will make a draft, then there will be objections called, then there will be finalization, but all this has to be completed within 8 weeks, 8.5 weeks. So we complete the whole process by 1st or 2nd of November. Once we do that, we are ready to go for the voters list, because now the delimitation has happened, the voter list has to be prepared. Now it is the State Election Commission which will be giving the direction to prepare the state voter list. There is this thing, there was a express provision in the Karnataka Municipal Corporation Act that all the State Election Commission, which is mandated to conduct election, in order to make electoral roll, can adopt the Legislative Assembly rolls, which was not there in the BBMP Act. So in the GBA Act also we have not written, because we thought that it is automatically saved. But State Election Commission has expressed clearly that you have to have that this thing. That is why we are amending our act, and Cabinet has approved it. It is going for the amendment, will be put to the Legislative Assembly. But that all will be over before 2nd of September itself. We are having time till 2nd of November. When we complete the delimitation, the State Election Commission will take over. They will decide the time for the making of the voter list. Of course, they have to get the voter list made from the BBMP staff. We have some understanding as to how much time they will take. But for so far as government is concerned, our work stops, delimitation stops on 1st or 2nd of November. Then the reservation has to be completed. That is the work of the government, but it doesn't stop the voter list to be prepared. So these are the two parallel things which will happen from the 2nd of November. The voter list will be guided and controlled preparation will be happening by the SEC, State Election Commission supervision. Government will complete the reservation. See, delimitation which was done first was for the 243 wards, and that was questioned in the court, and court had ruled in the favor of the delimitation. There was a delimitation committee. Later on the numbers were changed after elections, and it was 225. That also was delimitation committee made the recommendations, and that also was not struck down. So both the times people may have expressed their views, but it has not been struck down. We are putting the delimitation commission and giving the guidelines. That should be that should be explicit enough to do a better job, and they have done. Let us see, because this is the work of the delimitation commission. We have made a commission which will be separate again from the government, but it may have government officers. They will be doing this work. When they do this work, let us believe in them. So the whole idea is to bring the governance close to the people. Once you make 5 corporations which are mandated now, once we do that, the headquarters shifts close to you, number one. The maximum number of wards anticipated are 150 maximum. So from 200 odd, 198, we have a scope to go up to 750. That may not happen, but that is the maximum. Once you do that, the number of people, if you see, because the population of earlier times we had taken when we made this 200, 198, then we took the population again of 2011 census and again made 243. So if you take the present population of 141 and divide it by, let us say, 200, 140 or 200, it is 70,000 people are getting represented by one corporator. This is a very, very difficult thing for any human being. So because the local bodies take up large number of activities. So if you load a person who will cater to 70,000 people, and in Mahadevpura, which was very huge, only 6 to 7 wards were there or 8 wards were there. So there had been an imbalance, because number one, the city has grown in certain areas very much. In other areas, though there had been a plateauing of population, but still since 2011 census is very old. We have missed out the plateauing part and the excessive growth, which by experience and the electoral voter list which we are having, it gives some sort of idea as to what is the current population and projection that is being used. So the numbers will be very less. Certainly From 70,000, it will come down maybe by half and below that at of present situation. So there will be substantive reduction. The person will be in a position, the ward populace will be in a position to elect a person closer to them and closer to them from a proximate area, and that is the grassroots of democracy. Once you increase that number and number of people's representative and make the smaller corporation, the governance improves automatically, because you can immediately, a corporator will see that this area is properly served. He will question the works undertaken. The allocation also will have some sort of uniformity across the city corporation. So that way, if you see this, and the governance of the city also improves, because first, coming from some point to, let us say, BBMP Central Hudson Circle is a very difficult ask. People may not come. They are coming and they are spending a lot of time to meet the Chief Commissioner, because he is totally burdened by so many asks on him, and it is very difficult. It is very difficult. The work of the current Chief Commissioner and the persons in the headquarters is overwhelming. So if small things have to be attended, which is the work of the municipality, it cannot be humanly attended by a commissioner sitting in the headquarters, which is so far off from the edge of the city. Hence, city governance is bound to improve. More officers, IAS officers will also be put. There will be one commissioner. There can be KS officers, very senior, and IAS officers to support him. Then automatically the number of ward increases, so the ward establishment has to be there. So there will be an increase in the revenue expenditure. If you think that it is coming at no cost, that is not true. We have to improve governance, means we have to have many foots on the ground. That requires full reorganization. Ward level offices have to be strengthened. There has to be one engineer or some sort of ministerial staff along with engineers, and other important duties which we do with respect to health, because spraying is happening, and kasa for the purpose of waste disposal. So we have to have the unit at ward. The ward increases from 200 to, let us say, 500, 550. We do not know how much it will come. So you can imagine that many numbers would be available. I told that all the functions of BBMP have been transferred to the city corporation as it is. Okay. Now GBA has very limited role. What is the role of GBA? GBA has coordinating function. GBA has, if the state government is giving developmental grant, it will be routed through the GBA. It is nothing to do with your resources, with the city corporation resources, and the revenue deficit will be made good by the state government through the finance commission. So what role and scope is envisaged for GBA is mainly the coordination among the parastatals and their action plan and this action plan. If the state government intervenes to give the money, they will have fair idea how much they are giving for water supply, how much they are giving for BESCOM, and how much they are giving to us, and what are the important projects which can be undertaken. Rather than leaving it to the BBMP, they are coming with this proposal. There will be some 5-6. They will be also asking, a major road is required, a ring road is required, some major flyovers are required, which cannot be done by the city corporations on their own. They can do. They have the resources. They will not ask. They will not ask the state government whether I want a flyover or not. They depending upon their mobility plan, etc., they will do. But suppose you have to make a series of things which are requiring a large amount of money, capital, which is required for the development of Bengaluru. The capital requirement for such a huge city is enormous. So that bigger projects will be decided where the government is giving the money. If the municipalities want to involve the GBA and say, you take our money and do it, that also is possible. But the GBA has no power to ask them to give this much money, I will take up this project. They cannot, so BBMP, all powers, if you see the BBMP Act, all the clauses, all the functions of BBMP gets transferred to the city corporation. The money which we are collecting BBMP, that will be broken, and as per the boundaries, it will go to the city corporations. That is how there will be some deficit in certain areas which have to be made good by the government. The transfer is not possible by GBA or by anybody. So GBA is, it is a misconception as if the GBA is running it. Administrative functions are important. Why? If the present cadre, if you see BBMP is a present cadre, common cadre. If you break it and say you opt for 5, there will be a full imbalance as to certain areas, people will say I will go, certain areas will become khali, number 1 point. Number 2, same engineers or same functionaries, if they go to a particular place where the numbers are, the sanctioned distance is more, numbers have become very less and they have become permanent staff, they may immediately get promotion. So in the same batch of today, one executive engineer will remain executive engineer, one will become chief engineer. Secondly, it is very difficult to rely only on a committed staff for a municipality. Suppose they don't perform, you will have no way to shift them across the city corporations. That is why, and that is the first thing, it will be challenged if we make 5 different cadres of people. Tomorrow it becomes 7, then again you have to break in 7. It is not possible. The administrative function for making common cadre and recruitment rule in the Act is envisaged for GBA. So that is the linchpin to keep the administration running without any immediate repercussion of fall. Because immediately if you do this without having any control on the administration, the next day itself it will be anarchy. So we have to do that. The administrative functions are kept to some extent, not completely, cadre recruitment rule, then the transfers across the city corporation, and the class group A transfers are kept with the GBA. The functions which are given to GBA are the functions of the government, not the functions of the city corporations. One has to read the Act to understand what functions have been given. So right now, all class A, government says that we will do the appointment. So AEE onwards, everything is done by the government. Government is in the secretariat, is supposed to do more policy and better work than the transfers. So those powers have been given to GBA to do it there itself. That is the 3 major function. 4th function is the LPA, which is slightly now coming under debate. See, the BDA is a local planning authority as per the Karnataka Town and Country Planning Act. But they are not anytime answerable to the people through the municipal corporators or the people, because people are exercising any control only through the corporators. Of course, they are also exercising through their MLAs. But when it comes to city administration, corporator is important. In that aspect, the planning is right now being done by the BDA. The implementation to some extent is being done by the BBMP. It is a midway solution. If you see the constitution amendment, the LPA should have gone to the corporations, etc. But the BDA Act has survived, and all the other states are having the UDA Acts. We are also having KUDA Act. They are all surviving the 74th Amendment for the last 20-25 years. That means there is some very important functions which the UDAs are doing. Can that be done by the GBA? So that making a master plan. BDA will prepare, because they will remain our secretariat. BDA will not go. The Act envisages that this becomes the LPA within the GBA area. So GBA area, the local planning is done by the GBA. Of course, all the technical support will be given by the BDA. So, but the master plan has to be approved here, then put for the objection, and then it will come as a final plan. Within that master plan, all city corporations are free now to give their building plans. The BBMP was giving building plans, development plans to some extent. That is also now reduced to 2.5 acre vargu. The development plans, etc., will be done by the city corporations. Above that, it will be done by the maybe GBA, not the BDA, or we will see how much more we can devolve. So that is a very important function. Actually, the expert committee fought very much for this, saying that planning is to be local planning, completely should be with the GBA and the corporations. That is why it is a huge step forward. And the planning function, once it is given to the municipality, you are also under great what you call accountability under the scanner. Right now also construction is happening and everything is happening violating the building laws, and we are pinpointing to somebody who is deflecting it to somebody else. All that has to stop. So this will also strengthen the hand of the government to stop the illegal layouts and the construction which is happening in violation. So all these things, if it goes locally, you become responsible also. Right now you may allow the development and only point finger, but now you cannot say that I was not knowing and it has happened, etc., etc. So there is a lot of accountability coming. So these are the only four functions given to the GBA, and not what people are thinking. That is why we are saying that the coordination by committees, which is headed by Chief Secretary and by the ACS, right now they are trying their best and large number of good things are happening. But the coordination as per the Act itself is envisaged at all levels. One is of course at the topmost level, so that all the agencies working in Bangalore at the GBA level. But if you see in the constituency level, we have put a coordination and advisory committee. There is no supervisory committee. It is called constituency level coordination and advisory committee. So where the MLA and MLC and the divisional engineers, etc., will be sitting. So there they can discuss the plan, cross plan, what approvals are not coming, and all the
constituency wise.
Within the corporation, and all the ward members will be the members there. No. This work is again what? Its work is to coordinate among the already approved works and action plan. They are not making an action plan. They are only saying that this cutting is happening, etc. The road was built yesterday. Why you have cut without coordinating? Or if suppose a cut has to be done, one agency is giving permission, one agency not giving permission, that also can be dealt with.
Exactly, corporation meeting is supposed to discuss and corporation commission is supposed to coordinate. Why do we bring in MLA there when an elected body is there?
No, MLA is also a member of the.
But his job is to legislate, not get into civil courts.
No, but in his area, he remains the public representative. He has to see that in his area what work we are doing, because their whole constituency almost is falling within the urban area. So they have to also listen to that. Otherwise, there is a parallel mechanism which has to be put. So the MLAs are representing the people of Bangalore. If they are there, their grievances has to be heard by him. The councillors are doing their duty, but there has to be some sort of coordination as well as advice coming that I want in this area, my people are telling this. If you took too much micro view of your ward, this is getting missed. So a small ward person may still object that line to be laid. That is stopping the whole line of the full area. So we have to bring in some sort of discipline. Then these things can be brought to the city corporation meetings by somebody. Otherwise, it will be only a monopoly of ward members, ward committee corporators. Another thing, this time we have brought the ward committee in a more democratic manner. There 50% of people are to be elected and various representations from women, from the RWAs, etc., and that is through lottery. Another 7 are from the nomination. Now after this 14, the head is the corporator, 15th. He has to overrule them he has been given veto power because he is the only elected representative. Others are, what we are trying to do is more systematic selection of the persons who wants to be represented. We have given certain guidelines. So they will be, as per that, selected. Right now, what is the procedure? Within some time you apply and the commissioner will nominate. How he has nominated, you can't question. Now we are saying through lottery it will happen. Then nominations will also be there, but it is by the government. But the veto power is with the corporator. Suppose there is opposite, you will say government nominees, and suppose the ruling party is different and the ward is fellow corporator is from different party. So he has been given the veto right because he is the elected representative. If 14-15% keep on squabbling, then no issue can be solved. But when he is overruling, he has to record the reasons so that he doesn't just simply overrule. You have to give the reasons. How many times you will give reason for something which is very logical and it is a public record. So you can question, you can ask under RTI, etc., etc. So every checks and balances have to be put on every authority, and that has been envisaged in this. So a lot of consultation has happened. If you see, this is itself more or less the bill which was prepared by the expert committee, which has got a lot of liberal inputs, and they have taken, and it was prepared by them through the law graduates and all that. Of course, when it comes to the government, we have a different view, so we will of course moderate it and will bring it in our understanding what is correct. But the whole act is envisaged and ideated by large number of people. Then we have gone, it was first put to the assembly, then joint committee of the legislature was nominated, and under our honorable MLA Mr. Rizwan and large number of honorable MLAs and MLCs, they have gone across and taken the views of the people, and it has been substantially modified. If you see the first act, if you see the act which we have seen in the assembly of the last December or something, that is quite different from what it has come now. So there is a lot of consensus in this thing. So I think there should not be any problem. No,
Thank you so much, Hari.
there is no, right now, if you see the position of the traffic, which I hope you are aware, and you are covering also through your paper in greater details, and every day something you are showing on choking. The average speed in the whole city is coming to the F grade, which is not very good thing. That means we have failed in almost each stretch if you take, and the time taken is point some six, there is a factor multiplied by 60, which has been prescribed by the MORTH. If you put that, C should be the acceptable levels. We are in F on major roads. So you have to do something. There are only two options: the elevated corridors and the tunnels. Now the elevated corridors and the tunnels both can be taken up, because our population of people and the vehicle are almost same. When you do not take any step you will take, it will take 4 to 5 years to culminate. You don't take any step today, it is only aggravating the situation for tomorrow. It cannot be continued like this. You have to take some decision and go ahead. There will always be pros and cons of any project which government takes. We had taken the mobility plan through expert. We had also kept for this thing, circulation, etc. So it cannot be said that it was not done through due diligence. No, it has been done. Soil study has been done. The study of the traffic has been done, and because we have to project the stream of money coming from toll, so and we have gone for the BOT model, It is modified BOT model. It is our own model. In this, you have to spend your own money. You are putting at the person who is coming, he has to put his own money and see that the money is collected from the tolls, and only VGF is being provided by us. So it cannot be done in a hasty manner. We have taken a lot of time. If you see, you say haste, the government feels that we are delayed, but it has been talked, and we are not moving fast. So it is a different perception altogether. But any one day delay in decision making is only aggravating and impacting the traffic adversely. देखिए, IISc is not the study. If you take it to the director, he will not say, I own this study. IISc professors are independent types. They have their own way of dealing with the situation. So one professor saying that it is not good or not is not the view of the IISc. So people are free to express their opinion. In democracy, you are supposed to bring those things. It has supposed to be heard, and a decision has to be taken. It cannot make the government machinery dysfunctional by simply having the comments and not coming up with any solutions. Okay, you can come up with something or the other. It should be weighed, should be incorporated, should be seen whether any mistake has been committed or not. So long as your comments are that these mistakes have been committed, they can be rectified. If your thing is principally I don't agree, I have to go to some different thing, then that solution we have to weigh that alternative is practical or not. For you as an expert, yes, it is practical to do this or that thing. You may tomorrow also say I have not taken elevated corridor. I am also of the opinion that elevated corridor should have been taken. But after going through the reality that how you will take up the elevated corridor, when your lanes are very, very small. It is not like Delhi, because Delhi, when they did the planning, the new Delhi was coming up, they had made this road. We had a Bangalore road, which is a plateau. It was decided this much only. On that road, the whole carriageway comes from four lanes to 3 lanes to 4 lanes to 3 lanes. The 3 lane will become the minimum. In that, if you put the pillars on the road, it will, anyway, you are at F. I have reminded you, we are exactly at F. If we go for the pillar, etc., right now on that road, there will be no movement of the traffic. You can't reach. From my house, I will not be able to reach. In 2 hours, I will not be able to reach. So we have to go practically that some where the choking is happening and very acute, those stretches have to be taken up very fast under passages. And under passages all over world used. Of course, people will show you the photo of choked under passages. Why are they not showing the flowing traffic?
So if somebody has better ideas with the practical thing, they can approach the government.
They should have approached. We have gone ahead now, so it is beyond the point of this thing that you go for in this tunnel. If we have made a mistake, yes, you can still come, because we have not tendered. The learning is that town planning is the essence of a beautiful city. If you compromise on the town planning function and don't take the area adjacent to the current boundaries into the local planning immediately and do a better planning which will be implemented also by the same local authority, the things will fail. Our growth in various places had happened because those areas remained outside the BBMP for long. They had already grown too big when the BBMP came in. So you find that all sorts of B properties are there in Mahadevpura. Its growth is the highest because nobody waits. If you are not making any regulation, the people will come. So you have to think about regulation which are practical, but regulations are supposed to be put. If you do not put the regulations, there would be problem. Earlier, what was the say that certain areas have grown because government has not interfered. Now those places are the worst hit by the traffic because you have to take a full garland, full round of the same area to reach the same point. If you take the whole round and there is no grid to move, because some industrial areas were developed. We gave the land in bulk to XYZ. So they have put the boundaries. You can't enter inside. So the whole traffic grid was not put on the areas. So if you give some isolated in the middle of somewhere outside the city, one industrial area without integrating the traffic pattern, you will face the problem. Similarly, the persons who came around that area, just they came because they have to work there, and we didn't make any master plan there. So master plan is the most important thing in my opinion. Thank you.